shaking, everybody? It's Blair with the Badass Records podcast, welcoming you in for another episode. This week, I'm pleased to share with you that Eric Martens of Border Brewing Co. is my guest. You can find Border here in downtown KCMO, 512 East 18th Street. Give them a ring at 816-469-5287, or check them out online. BorderBrewCo.com is the site for that. Their socials are Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and this here podcast episodes of it air Thursdays when all goes well. The website is badassrecordspodcast.com. Keep tabs on the thing via Instagram, and you can consume the episodes on the website, badassrecordspodcast.com, or find audio of it where you stream/download your podcasts and music, or if you want to watch it, it's on YouTube. That's all I got for you this week. Appreciate you stopping by. Hope you enjoy the show. I think that this will wind up being episode 180 of Badass Records podcast, and I'm very pleased to welcome Eric Martens, Border Brewing Company. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Nice to meet you. So, Border Brewing Company, or Border Brewing Co., 512 East 18th Street, downtown KCMO, 816-469-5287. You've got the business.untapped.com, right?
Okay. Yeah. Plus, that's a great way to check out our current beer lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also have just borderbrewco.com
for
our main website.
Yes. Yeah. And you're celebrating 10 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's
Turned
awesome.
10 in February.
You guys are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. And I came across you, I've heard of you before. Honestly, your name is more familiar to me than the brewery for some reason.
Fair enough.
I don't know why. But I came across the socials on the TikTok where you were talking about water.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's been a minute since I watched it. Will you? Because there was others. You know how TikTok, if you engage with something of topic X for a couple days, it'll feed you that. And the more you engage, the more. So I had seen some other water stuff. So I was like, whoa. So tell me.
Yeah. So that was, in all honesty, fairly intentional, because I'd seen some of that buzz kind of going around on social media and was like, I'm going to do a video about this. My background's chemical engineering. I worked for mostly oil and gas, kind of did some water treatment type of stuff tangentially because of that. And I was like, I think I got some stuff to say about this. And we're always treating water in our brewery. It's something we pay very close attention to. So yeah, put that video together that was like, water's tasting weird in Kansas City. Here's what we do about it. Here's what you can do about it at home. And just kind of thought, like, this will be a fun, like, sort of throwaway piece of content that we can do for folks in Kansas City to hopefully maybe get some answers of, like, what's actually going on. And it blew up. Got several 100,000 on both TikTok, which TikTok's a tough one and to break through on. And I think Instagram and also Facebook were around that number. So did not expect that, but it's great.
I've got periodic engagement with creators on TikTok, whether it's just very quick dialogue in the comments or actual direct messaging, or maybe we're communicating via email outside of that. But I hear that often, that there's the throwaway one that you never think about.
Yeah.
The one that you put 4.5 hours into and have to re-upload and shit goes sideways. 14 views or
Yeah,
what, and then
man, 100%.
So-
Like you put all that time into editing, or it's like I did so good on this one. Like nobody cares. It's so. So you just don't know, and like even afterwards, you look at it like, okay, what made that one work? Because obviously you want to kind of diagnose like what the pieces, what the elements were, and sometimes you can do that and figure out some things that you're doing. Sometimes it's just luck, it's the right time. I think in this case, the fact that people are kind of already talking about water quality sort of helps give it a boost. So you can kind of learn to play the algorithm a little bit.
Where were you for that?
When I was shooting, just in the brewery, So
wasn't there water behind you? Why did
I was behind the bar for the first part, and then I kind of like went through different spots of the brewery where we had like our big charcoal filtration tank and our RO system, because I wanted to like show those and kind of have some visuals with it. So
okay,
so, just in the brewery.
Was there? I mean, first of all, was there any kickback? Did anybody like get in your business and say knock that off?
There wasn't really much resistance. I mean, sometimes with those videos, the comments there's so many, you can't read all of them, but I was going through some of them because it's also a good way to just see like, okay, how did this work? Why were people engaged with this? So I think some people were genuinely interested to know, like, why does my water taste like shit?
Yeah.
Even though they're saying it's safe. Like, I've always been like, okay, it tastes terrible. My senses are saying I shouldn't drink this, but you're telling me it's safe. I'm not so sure. So I think there's some uncertainty, and some people that land on either side of the fence. We had some like real conspiracy theorists that were see, that's, and they're going off about that. We had some people that were in water departments and water treatment that were chiming in and like saying like, kind of validating some of the stuff I was saying. So that's cool. So you kind of just had like different perspectives that I think it touched different groups, which helps it, reach a wider audience, I guess. Not anything I was considering. I mean, literally it was like I think it was a Wednesday afternoon, and we were just chatting about it at the brewery, and it was like 3:00. I'm like, I'm going to do a video on this. And so I shot it, edited it, and had it out, I think at like 5, like it just went real quick. And, it was really fun like to see that.
So what's the answer? And is there a fix in place? Like, what's the story with the water?
So I guess the short story is, in the spring, especially when we get a lot of rain and a lot of runoff, I don't know where all it's coming from, but you get biological matter, stuff that goes into the river, which is where our water source is. The city's job is to treat it to make it so it won't make you sick. So they're trying to kill bugs, bacteria, get most of the sediment out of it and stuff. But how it tastes is not really their job.
Yeah.
It's just, let's just do what we need to do to get it to not make people sick. And so they're saying perfectly safe, not going to make you sick, right? For us as brewers, like that's not good enough. So we're testing water quality all the time. We're using reverse osmosis water for all of our brewing, which basically means you put it through this process where you're left with pure, absolutely pure water. So we do that, and then we kind of add salts back, and we create a water profile so that we can have it be very, very consistent and very, very clean all the time. And part of that is because we were noticing, even with like charcoal filtration, which is like a Brita filter, takes out chlorine and some stuff. That's a great thing, I think, to have in your drinking water in your house just in general. It's a good like first line of defense for a lot of things. Even with that, we were just getting these flavors, these kind of funky, musty, dingy, dirty, whatever you want to call it, flavors that were coming through in our water. And we noticed it in one of our batches of beer. And I was like, what is up with this? This has never happened in this beer we've made for years. And went and tasted the water out of our water tank, and I was like, there it is. Even though it's been filtered, it tasted off. So we've been using RO for all our brewing water,
which is what you see on all bottled water, or a lot of bottled water, right?
It's often RO. If it's not like directly spring water or something from a really clean source, then it's often RO water, and they might even be adding some minerals back into it to kind of make it taste more like water, clean water that would come out of a tap. Kansas City's water is very hard, so there's like there's a high mineral content in it, which a lot of those minerals are good, but for your body, but maybe not for your plumbing. So like a Brita filter, I think is a fairly economical thing that most people can do.
Yeah.
That that takes a lot of that gunk out, takes a lot of the chlorine out, and probably makes it a little healthier and just cleaner, more approachable, more appealing to drink.
I'm not really a conspiracy theorist on any levels, but 25 years ago or whenever Jim Gaffigan in the stand-up comedy world was first coming up, he has he had spit on bottled water, and some Frenchman in a meeting. The Americans are so stupid. And he's like, they're not going to buy. And he's like, oh, yes, they will. I was like, this is crazy. Like, it's a great product for on the road, camping, a picnic, whatever.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong. I grew up on tap water. There's nothing wrong with it, blah, blah, blah. And then for whatever reason, I switched to out of the fridge dispenser.
Yeah.
And then one day I had and I was like, oh, it's way different.
Yeah, or travel to a new city and it's like the water tastes way different.
Each city's tap water, like I've heard people talk about St. Louis's tap water being blah, and
really
something about New York. Like you see these guys that are like they run delis and fucking got the best sandwich, and they all like. There's something about New York tap water that's amazing.
Okay.
And you can't.
How much of that is city pride versus actual chemistry? Who's to say, right? Like,
exactly.
But yeah, and I mean, of course, you on the internet now you can find something wrong with anything.
Yeah.
But, now it's bottled water has microplastics, so. Okay. But if you're camping and there's still water in a lake next to you that has all sorts of stuff in it, the bottled water is probably your better option. So I think it's just good. I like doing that kind of content where it's like the information's out there. I'm not trying to push people one way or another. It's more just like, here's what I know.
Yeah.
And if there's some utility for you, great.
Yeah.
If it means you put a Brita filter in your house and you're drinking cleaner water and it tastes better, awesome.
Yeah. So congrats again on celebrating 10 years. Where's the idea for the brewery come from?
I was chemical engineering major at K-State, took a kind of night hobby class on how to brew how to brew beer at home, home brewing. Fraternity brother of mine was convinced me to do it. Didn't take much convincing, but so I kind of just started doing it at home and then got my first job, continued to kind of do it off and on. And then, got to a point in my career where it wasn't jiving. It's like doing the desk job thing. I was traveling a fair amount to kind of some of these oil and gas plants. I'm in my mid-20s and I'm single, and the dating scene in Bushton, Kansas is nil. So, just there are certain things about it where I was like, I'm ready for a change. I was kind of getting frustrated, and at the same time, this would have been probably 2012 or so when I first started like seriously kind of planning. There's like 75th Street Brewery, McCoy's, Boulevard, obviously.
Yeah.
That was kind of it. There wasn't much. So there's kind of the brew pub concept where it was a restaurant that made their own beer, and then there was Boulevard, right?
Yeah.
So, and they changed some laws to make it a little bit easier to do what we're doing now. So you didn't have to operate a restaurant anymore. You could just run the tavern.
Went being in the field that I'm in. I'm like, I wonder if there's an in for me to sell food to them. I was like, I don't see a menu anywhere.
Yeah. No, and that for me that just simplifies things. Like we just focus on making beer. We've got King G Deli next door, so we've got like table tents where you can order sandwiches. They'll bring them over to your table, which is nice.
Cool.
So that gives us an option without having to manage a kitchen. Helps throw some business their way too. So I think they like it. And just there wasn't really anybody doing what I was looking to do, and I always loved home brewing and loved the process. Obviously, as an engineer, like that was fun to like tweak it, refine it, improve things. But what I really loved was like at the end when I got to share it with people and just saw like light bulbs come on of like, oh, I had no idea what this tasted like. I mean, at that point in Kansas City, generally, people had Boulevard wheat, pale ale, maybe, but that was kind of it. And then they had some other styles that were great, but most people were drinking those too. So there wasn't the depth and breadth of beer styles that there is today in Kansas City. And so as I'm homebrewing and trying these new styles out and explaining it to people, like that part of it, I really fell in love with. So I thought, if I'm ever going to start a brewery, it's going to be a place where that part is the emphasis, where people that have never tried it before, are like feeling like they're in a comfortable, approachable situation where somebody can explain it to them without making them feel like an idiot for not knowing it, you know, which sometimes is a problem in our industry, I'll admit. And so that was sort of where the name Border came from, was like, we're trying to be sort of between the commoditization of cheap, crappy commercial beer and the snooty, pretentious, turn your nose up at people craft beer. And that's kind of, that was kind of the mission of like what I wanted to set out to do. So, you know, we try to hire the best people that are great at customer service and just being personable. I kind of don't care how much you know about beer. It's nice if you know a little bit, but if you're willing to learn about it and speak to it in your own words, we're not looking for beer experts necessarily. And then just our lineup, like our top selling beer is our strawberry blonde ale. Oh, cool. Right. So it's a fruited beer that, again, like some craft beer purists will turn their nose up, and I don't understand why, because we've bastardized so many styles, traditional styles of beer at this point. So it's like that strawberry blonde's kind of a great example of like what we're trying to do. Where
did you bring one of those today?
Yeah.
Should we try one?
Yeah, sure.
Should I try one?
Yeah. Help yourself. I've got the strawberry blonde there, our light lager, and then our pale ale. So,
8 years chefing at McCoy's. I had some front of the house stuff happening, but you know, I also, in all of the years and all the places that I've chefed or been a line cook or whatever, mostly in the management piece, free craft beer is part of your compensation.
Yeah.
Like if you want a Miller Lite bottle or a Jaeger, like you're paying for that.
Yeah.
But craft beer, and so I definitely spent some time at the bar after shift. And cheers, man. Thank you. This is the Strawberry Blonde 4.0. That's the wheelhouse I like to operate in.
Sessionable, like it's not super sweet. It kind of has a bit of a dry finish. The hope is that you get to the end of one and you still are okay with getting another one. You know, if you want,
not too sugary.
Yeah.
But you know. From 2000 to 2008 was my McCoy's run. So Westport was healthy-ish, and McCoy's did really well. You know, and with that patio, 10K, extra 10K in sales a week. And but the point I'm trying to make is that anytime when I started there, it was like, good luck getting a drink after a shift on a Friday or Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Because it would be
Just
4
slammed.
deep.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that thinned some, but it, you know, still would have healthy weekend nights. And just across all those years, so many nights where people roll in and they're like, wait, what? Like, because the bartenders and servers, there's, obviously you want them food knowledgeable, but you also definitely want them craft beer knowledgeable on what you have on hand. So you lead with that, and people are like, Bud Light bottle. Just so, like, they won't even like peek over here for a second, and
they couldn't understand that's not how things work.
It's Bud Light bottle goes in this hand. You know, it's just God damn, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, and we've started to kind of expand our offerings to do some cocktails, and we keep a white and a red wine on just to keep groups together, right?
Yeah.
Like, not everybody wants to drink beer, that's fine. But we don't carry guest taps. Like, we want to, because again, to be approachable, I think we need to focus on having something that for everybody if they want beer. So like the lager, 4% light lager, or maybe it's 4.4, I forget. It's like, so when somebody comes in, they're like, I'll have a Bud Light. We'll tell them, like, we don't have Bud Light, but we'll just pour them and say, like, try this. This is 100% American, you know, malt and made here, right back behind you. You know, a lot of the things that people might care about being American made, we're already doing. It's fresher, you know, it's higher quality ingredients, you know, all these things. Yeah. And so we can kind of sell them on it without being too bougie about it, you know, I think. And we've had a lot of success with that one.
Good.
Where it's like backyard lager, try that one, and people like it. So
are you a glass washer facility.
We do have a glass rinser. Yeah, I think that's a necessity.
It's like, so McCoy's was the way that it was, and then they redid the bar after a number of years, and Keith was insistent that each tap tower have a spot, and I was like, wow, that's a trip. Like, it got washed.
Yeah,
now it's clean.
Unless you have a high temperature dishwasher that doesn't use chemicals, you can end up with some bleach or something that's left on that glass, and it's just not worth the risk.
No,
or
I mean,
dust, or whatever. So I think it's a good protocol.
I see him in his space now. Yeah, and we'll be talking. You want a beer? No, I got to finish my. But I'll walk with him and get a water. Well, he never. I haven't seen in 20 or whatever, however many years him.
Yeah,
without
drink anything without. I will occasionally if I'm just like grabbing a quick one or whatever. It's but I think it's when you're serving beer that costs $7, I tell people like make it a $7 beer. So no spots on the glass. Make sure the glass is polished. Make sure it's rinsed. Make sure the beer looks right, like it's unfiltered. If we're getting to the end of the keg and there's some yeast in it, like swap the keg out, get them the right beer. All those little things, because like people are paying a premium for a high quality beer, so we should deliver on it. And the glass rinser is an easy.
I mean, it's a great look.
Addition.
It really is a great look.
Yeah, it's also something else to do. Like, what are you doing over there? Yeah.
So you're tinkering around, and the desk job thing is not vibing for you so much. The launch into your space, from the outside looking in, that feels really intimidating. So how was shopping and deciding and making the leap financial, all the things going into that?
It's the metaphor I use is like it's like jumping off a cliff, and all the business planning is just kind of walking up to the edge and like peeking over, and you're talking to people, and at some point there's no like next small step. You just kind of have to jump and see what happens next. And I guess for me, that was the day I told my engineering job, like, I'm quitting and I'm doing this. Or maybe when we signed a lease, right. Those happened like right around the same time. But yeah, I was on a job site in the middle of Oklahoma. I was told that I needed to stay there for, I think it was a couple of weeks. I was like, there's nothing for me to do. This job's done. Well, we need you to stay there till it's done in case they have questions, and bring the documents back. Okay. And so I'm sitting in this trailer on this job site, just getting antsy. Like I don't sit still for very long, very well. I got to find something to do. So I kind of start reading books. Then I get a call like, hey, we need you to stay there another 2 weeks. And I'm just like, oh, I just defeated. And that was kind of a moment where I was like, I think I'm going for this, started business planning, calling banks, all that stuff, trying to get financing sort of lined up, looking at spaces, 6 or 8 banks at least, maybe it was closer to a dozen. I forget. It was a while ago. None of them wanted to finance me. Nobody was doing this thing that was, that didn't have a restaurant, there was just brewery tap room. And our original location, was like 1,200 square feet, and that was brewery tap room and everything. So yeah, we moved during the pandemic to a bigger space. Yeah, which is also part of the story.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we, I'm open about this. My wife and I found about $50,000 in our life savings. We got about another $50,000 from friends and family to invest as silent partners, and then we took out 3 or 4 credit cards with like 0% for a year, and took out $50,000 in credit card debt, and that's how we financed the brewery. Not ideal.
Now spot.
The original spot.
So
the original spot was where Red Sash was, right there on 18th and Oak. Katanori is next door to where we were. There's a patio out on the east side. Double Shift was also next to it.
Oh yeah.
So we moved into that space. We opened there in 2015.
Okay.
We built that patio in 2017 because we could fit. There were like 40 seats in the tap room, right? Like it was very small. That patio helped us a lot, especially on like First Fridays and stuff.
Yeah.
And we did pretty well in that spot.
You're not losing money.
No, especially once we got to like 17, 18, things
That's great.
Were looking pretty good, but we were like just completely packed. When we were packed, and it's like, you see that, it's like, good, I'm glad we're busy, but if we had more square footage, we could double, do a lot more. You mentioned McCoy's patio and 10 grand a weekend. Like we weren't touching that, but
additional sales.
On top of
it's already busy in there. Like when the patio opens, the kitchen, you don't have like two more sets of burners and another grill and another fryer. You're just anyway.
No, absolutely. And so we around 2018 we were looking to expand, try to get a deal done in the building to like expand next door into the space that Katanori's in now.
Okay.
It fell through. And from then on I was like, let's not lease. Let's see if we can find a commercial property where we own the building.
Right back to the edge of that cliff again.
Yeah. Well, and I felt like I was kind of driven there. We didn't have the best relationship at the time with our landlord.
Okay.
He was kind of difficult to deal with. We weren't getting what we wanted out of that relationship, so it was frustrating. And because of that, I was like, I'll be my own landlord. If I think he's an asshole, at least I'll be the asshole this time. You know what I mean? So, so we were looking, really starting 2018, just kind of looking around to see what was there, doing fine. We're still operating and making money. And then the pandemic hit. So then we're not operating. We're not making money. Holy shit, what are we going to do? Right. And this building comes up a block down the street from our original location that is just Goldilocks. I mean, it's like 3 times the square footage, has this backyard area that's got trees in it, that we already have our backyard patio. And I'm like, man, it's just perfect. Like, this is what we've been looking for. We're in the same neighborhood, everything just is great. But it got listed in April of 2020. So really weird time to try to get a commercial real estate deal done. And went back to the banks, same deal, talked to a dozen of them.
Even, hey, look what we've done.
Look what we've done. They're like, so you might remember in 2019, it was August of 2019, if I recall, there was a shooting on First Friday that made headlines.
Okay.
And horrible situation, very tragic, the whole thing. So I want to make sure I say that. Also turned out to be real bad for business because it kind of put a black eye on the neighborhood of it's not safe there, And so we saw sales kind of dip the second part of 2019. And then the pandemic happened, right? So banks love to look at your last 3 years of revenue. And all they see when you send it to underwriting is down, 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 right? Like 2018 was good, 2019 was worse, and 2020 is even worse. And I'm like, I have explanations for all this,
They don't fit on the graph.
To care. Yeah. So same deal, dozen banks, nobody wanted to give us a loan. It's the pandemic. Nobody's ever going out. Nobody's ever drinking beer again. The whole world is ending, all that kind of catastrophic stuff. And eventually I found a small bank through a family friend that I happened to play golf with like a year before or something that, one of those things. And we got it done and we closed on that building in October of 2020 and then opened in November of 2021. So it took us over a year to get open.
Now, from my limited expertise, brewing equipment is generally not small or light,
right?
So did you take everything with you? Did you sell and start from scratch?
We were fortunate that Red Sash Brewing was looking for a location to open up, and I got connected with Pat that ran Red Sash Brewing, and they bought our equipment and it was all installed and in place. So they got a good deal by stepping into a turnkey brewery. And I think they probably saved hundreds. 6 months of time of building out and getting open at least. I mean, things in Kansas City right now, all of the regulatory stuff, all of the things going on in city planning, it takes forever. It is so slow.
Okay.
And it's a really frustrating part of running a business right now. Brick and mortar in Kansas City is all of the permits and stuff just take way longer than they need to. I won't get on my soapbox about that, but so it saved him a lot of time. He steps into a turnkey brewery. We get a pretty good deal on the equipment because otherwise we would have had to move it out and get somebody to come pick it up or find a buy. So that worked out really well. And then we bought new equipment with
Okay.
this deal for the new property.
Do you like it? Do you love your new equipment? Do you ever
Yeah.
miss the old stuff?
No, because it's
Okay.
bigger, you
Okay.
know. So
Yeah.
we went from a 3-barrel system to a 7-barrel, which sounds like a doubling, but really in terms of production, it's more like a 4 or 5x or more increase in our production ceiling. So what that did for us was took us from a taproom only spot to where we could finally produce enough beer to sell some in distribution. So that was a big step.
And that's super easy.
Yeah.
You don't have to involve the city or liquor distributors.
Yeah. So, I mean, we went through it all again. It's funny, like, we've been through this liquor license process actually 4 times now, because we did it at the original location. Then we opened the patio. We had to do it again.
Yep.
We bought the new building. We did it again. And then we thought the backyard was licensed, but I got a call from liquor control one day after a big event that made the news.
Do you guys have anything else to do?
And they informed us that it was not licensed, so we had to go through it another time. So I'm very familiar with the liquor license.
But that's that just covers what you're doing on site. If you want to have stuff in a store, now other hands get in there.
Yeah. So we set up ourselves to have a self-distribution license, which is how we've been doing it for the last couple of years. Which
that
is
doesn't
really nice.
mean you can take stuff to liquor stores.
It does.
What?
So this is relatively new. And in the McCoy's days, I think you could call it a loophole, I guess. Maybe existed, but it hadn't been kind of teased out. And when we started, I was told, no, you can't do that. That's for wineries, and here's how it works. Okay. BKS, as I understand it, and City Barrel too, I think kind of put some legal effort into talking with Missouri ATC to get this organized so that they could figure out how to self-distribute. So they kind of paved the way.
Okay.
And we followed that. And so we have a self-distribution license and a delivery van at the moment. And over the last couple years, we've been doing self-distribution.
Wow.
We're in 20 or 30 spots around Kansas City,
Excellent.
mostly like Crossroads downtown, Martini Corner, River Market, like pretty tight radius, just so it keeps delivery simple for us. And we're at the point where we've kind of maxed out on that. So we're in the process of trying to find a wholesaler that we can work with to get us to like Kansas City wide.
Yeah.
So
I saw a TikTok yesterday or the day before where, anymore it's like, maybe this is real. I don't know if this is real. But Amazon is apparently about to start using drones.
Oh God,
for delivery.
I did see something about that.
And I was like, what? That's nuts.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to feel about that.
Well, I mean,
like the convenience sounds nice.
Yeah, but I just picture, like a TV being dropped in a pool. Or,
right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. And it'd be great if we could deliver beer that way. Actually, I think I did see a story about a brewery in somewhere up north, like Wisconsin or whatever, around a lake. Right. And so it's just sitting on this lake, and there's this lake community all around the lake. And they had it set up where they did drone beer deliveries to anybody that lived on the lake, and they just fly it across the lake and drop it off at their house. And I think somebody from the government told them they couldn't do that anymore, unfortunately.
Fascinating thing about being in the back of the house chef management role with, basically one, sometimes two people running the whole brewery side of things.
Sure.
Is that you're both there early before anybody else shows up, and the doors are locked and it's quiet. So you can, if you have a minute and an interest, you can go into person X's space or vice versa and walk around and learn something.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, just thinking without ever asking or knowing that the McCoy's kegs get to the, somebody here is loaded in. No. Glazers or whoever comes and picks them up and then takes them back. And then when they get ordered, they get put on a truck. I was like, what an absolute waste of energy and whatever.
And I think for small breweries, like for us getting started with self-distro, it made sense. It allows us to kind of control the pace, pick the accounts that we want, the ones we like, the ones that are good, get really quick feedback on what's working and what's not.
Sure.
So it's a really good like incubator phase, but it's me and Mark as my brewer / GM / delivery driver. Like we all do everything.
Bunch
right?
of hats.
And we both work hard. And we're at the point where it's just like for the last 6 months, like we can service the accounts we have. We can't do more. So do we hire a sales rep, get warehousing space, take on all this capital expenditure. Sounds like we're building a distribution business from scratch. Do we want to do that, or just find somebody that's already doing it well, that has some sales reps that'll give us a fraction of their time, and then maybe like get some sales going, go hire our own salesperson.
Sure.
So that just seemed to make a lot more sense. And I think with the right partnership, it'll work really well, because it'll also simplify what we're doing. We don't have to mess with invoicing and deliveries, and they just come pick a pallet of beer up, and then we can focus on making beer and going and doing events and beer education and all that kind of fun
Servicing
stuff.
the people that are in the building. And
Yeah.
So when you opened Space One, how many flavors did you open with?
We started with 6 styles. I think 5. One of them, the very first batch I poured, was bad because I didn't get the kegs cleaned, and I was so disappointed.
Oh my God.
I remember this. I was like, this is the moment. Like, I had friends around, like, first beer ever poured, and it was our campfire porter. And of course, I've been tasting it from every step along the process, and it was coming along great, just like I'd planned. And then it went to the kegs, and it had this like really metallic off flavor, because I think these kegs just didn't get a good cleaning cycle.
I've just glancing for years, like, keg washing is no joke. Like, it is a chore.
Yep.
Some time, some lifting.
Yep, you got to do it. And I don't remember if we did it and we didn't do it right. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But it came off the tap. And that was the first like hard decision probably with the brew I had to make, which was like,
throw out a batch.
We're throwing this out. And there were people there like, I think it tastes fine. And it's like there's all these moments where you have to go, what's my standard when people say it's good enough? And when do we dump a batch? Like, those are hard decisions, because you have to be able to draw a line. And I've erred on the side of dumping batches instead of putting something on that's close enough, just because, especially early on, I think people are starting to associate you with a reputation for quality and that kind of stuff. And so that ended up being a good decision. We had a blonde ale, a pale ale, an IPA, red ale, a porter, and a milk stout.
Okay.
Which I look at that now, it's like, if you started a brewery now with that lineup, I think that's fairly uninteresting. It's like you got to do more.
At a time, there was a time where it was very interesting.
Right.
Like
and in 2015, I think it was. And
milk stout, what?
And we opened at 11 a.m., we closed at 11 p.m., and we had a line out the door for the entire 12 hours. I mean, and it was just, we'd gotten some lucky marketing things. The 610 used to do the Beer with the Boys segment. So they reached out of the blue, like, hey, we'd love to have you on. See, you're opening Saturday. So like, I did that on like a Wednesday or Thursday, and then another news organization came and did a deal on Friday. So we got a lot of good press for it.
Cool.
And nobody was doing it. I mean, Big Rip and Cinder Block had opened in North KC. At this time, Beer Co had opened their facility and tap room. But Big Rip was probably the closest, and Cinder Block too. Like, there weren't a lot of these like small brewery tap rooms, so people were just showing up. It's like, cool, it's another new one, And now, I don't know, depending on where you draw the metro area, there's 30, 40, 50. So it just takes more to break through marketing wise.
Sure. So then today, how many styles do you have on offer?
Today I think we have 13 or 14. We've got some cocktails on. We do a hard cider. We do a hard seltzer. So, more space. We get to play with more things.
Sure.
We do test batch Thursdays on Thursday nights. So for almost 2 years running, and we haven't missed a Thursday. So it's probably, I don't know, over 100. I don't know what the number is in a row that we've done a new like 5-gallon batch of something. And that's been really fun too, because we get to experiment. We get to try new ingredients, new techniques. People that come in on Thursdays are, just getting something new and creative.
Yeah.
So we get to get that feedback right away. So that's been fun too.
One of the things, and I wish I could remember the name of the spot, but on Saturday in Colorado, the kids and I rode with basically my best friend from grade school and his wife and their 3 kids, and they are bike junkies. Like, he has 4 bikes. Everybody else in the family has like 2. So we had choices. Yeah. But they deliberately lied on how far the ride was, because they knew that I would have.
You wouldn't have done
it. Yeah. It was 11 miles each way. And I'm not First of
Yeah.
all, I'm not the
That's not nothing, especially with altitude.
altitude. I'm not a frequent rider, and also like there are a few places in the world as uncomfortable as a bike seat.
Yes.
So if your undercarriage is not like anyway,
adapted to that.
we
Yeah.
rode to this place where I mean there were 2 food trucks and it was all outdoor, and there was a big giant shade tent where water station and beer sales were happening, and then tons of outdoor seating, and there was lots of flavors available, and they had a seltzer too.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, huh,
Yeah.
wow. I'm also considering all of those elements. I've just never really been a day drinker.
Sure.
It's
Fair
just,
enough. Yeah. Yeah.
And so like to ride 11 miles and sit and drink beer for an hour and
And then have to go back.
nope.
Good luck.
I was just water. I did get
Yeah.
a seltzer and it was
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's cool to see that has made its way into the.
Yeah, I think there's been a trend the last few years of like lower calorie, lighter.
Yep.
Maybe it's a health trend. I think some of it is also you've got this craft, at least in Kansas City, but this could be more of a national trend. You had this craft beer boom, got, IPAs. Now you got double IPAs and triple IPAs, imperial stouts, all these like really flavorful, things. So like you try the blonde ale and now you want something a little more interesting and a little more interesting. And you end up drinking this 12% imperial stout that's oak aged and has blueberries and cinnamon in it. Right. So like you end up drinking that. And then I think it's like, man, I kind of feel terrible after having 1 or 2 of those, or I've gained some weight or whatever. So I think the pendulum's kind of swinging back where, you see hard seltzers. We're also just seeing in the beer world, like lagers are becoming more popular. These 4 to 5% lagers, even the IPA category is just like lightened up body wise. Like it's drier and like little lower alcohol. And you're starting to see these categories of like, I don't even know what they're all called, but they're, like mid alcohol or low alcohol beers of, they're 3% or 2 or whatever. I don't know if that's for me. If I'm going to drink a beer, I'm going to drink a beer, but there's a kind of that trend going on, I think, where it's like going back to lower calorie, healthier. You're not getting as bloated, just something that's easier on your system, I guess.
When I left McCoy's, I left to go chef the 75th Street Brewery. And again, free craft beer is part of the compensation package. And there was a guy named Chris Morgan and a guy named Nick. I don't remember Nick. So they were the 2 brewers.
Yeah.
And this is like the heyday of Belgian.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm like lights and lagers.
Yeah.
And, have 20 of those after a shift and just couldn't stand it. And it's like, but, I'm also on the line making your meals every time you order food, and it's like you have 2 things that you go to on this menu. It's like the veggie burger and fish and chips. Never do you order a special, never do you try, but
right,
God forbid I belly up and don't indulge in your
the newest, latest, greatest thing. Like
just
like, hey, it may just not be for me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Belgians, I'm the same way, especially. So I got to go to Belgium this year, actually, in Germany, which was awesome. Obviously, beer country, like that's part of what I was there for. And I got to try a lot of Belgian beer, and I did kind of fall in love with it.
Okay.
But one thing I learned, and this is what Americans love to do, maybe in general, but especially in craft beer, is we kind of get these tasting notes on like, it's got a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And we were like, what? A lot of that and a lot of that. And then we turn everything up to 11. And, it kind of happened in the IPA world first, I think, where IPA was this category where it's like you had the Brits that shipped it to India and put a little more hops in there so it would have preservatives for the voyage, right? So, and an English IPA, I've had those in England also, and it's like it's very, very mild compared to what we have. And so we hear more hops and we go more hops, more hops, more hops. And then all of a sudden, like when we opened in 2015, you had these like 200 IBU things that just like rip the skin off your tongue and were ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And then, the response to that was, I think, the hazy IPA thing. So now we want no bitterness. We just want hop aroma and flavor. And we want it to be this pillowy kind of sweet thing. But then they got like super sweet, and we got these like milkshake IPAs and these things that are like heavy. And now it's kind of correcting back to, I think, where, okay, we're going to go drier and a little lighter and a little more balanced. So that kind of stuff is always, I think interesting. But Belgians are that way too. We're like, just had these delicate notes of like bubble gum and things. And I like, it was all balanced. Like it was all balanced and mild. Some of them were stronger beers, but like they were right in balance. And
I think Blue Moon ruined it for me, because it's like, here's this, we're garnishing with an orange slice and there's coriander, and I was like, this tastes like shit. And then every Belgian I've had since then harkens me back to that. Yeah. But also, like, I move out to Estes Park in 94. I'm 40 minutes from Fort Collins, where New Belgium is. And I'm like,
nice.
Getting exposed to, obviously, Fat Tire. Fat Tire was here before I went out there. But then all the beers that they're making, and then of course your Sierra Nevadas and stuff are making it into the liquor stores, and they taste great, and they have cool labels. And one of my favorite all-time beers was a Ballad Bitter, and it had like an Englishman bald with the hair, and it said "Yeah, sure, you betcha" on the label. Like, I would love to come across.
That must be from Wisconsin or something.
I don't remember.
Or somewhere up north.
But I had to guess. So many good beers were coming out.
Yeah. And now it's become just a lot more localized. And I think a lot of these regional breweries are kind of struggling, because I use this stat. When we opened in 2015, there were about 2,500 breweries in the country. That number's around 10,000 now. I don't know what it is, and it's been there for the last few years. So it's kind of 4x'd over that period, but most of them are like breweries our size that are neighborhood breweries distributing locally. And what that means for the regional breweries is, like, if you're trying to enter in a new market, you now have like 10 other guys you're up against that are putting it in the delivery van and driving it to the liquor store, right? So like, if you're doing an IPA especially, you can't compete with freshness by the time you go through your distribution channels across the country. And so the product is actually better with these local guys in many cases. Like, if you're doing it right, I always tell people, like, go to the tap room and get it from there, because that's just the best beer you're going to get.
Small batch.
Yeah. Well, and it's also just freshest, because that chain of custody or whatever, right, is shorter. So and that's a concern as we start talking to wholesalers. That's like, we need to make sure things are moving, that they're being stored properly, like all these steps along the way, so that somebody's first impression of our beer isn't a can that's been sitting there for 12 months. And it's, I mean, all beer has a shelf life. So
there's a cheese company called Grande in the food distribution world, and like pizza experts. A lot of that's their Grande people. They got, and they won't partner. They won't let like the biggest of the biggest broadline distributors stock their product in their warehouses, because they don't want to like let it spill over and lose quality control. I don't know.
I mean, it might just be that shelf life thing, right? Like, how long is it going to sit there? Are you going to guarantee us that it's going to move? And then oftentimes in the negotiation with a wholesaler, there's buybacks, right? So if they're not moving it and they can't sell it, then you're contractually obligated to buy it back at a set price. So that's a big risk as a brewery. So it has to kind of all work out for everybody. But
so, do you ever have days off? Okay.
Yeah, I've started to find a good balance. I mean, I'd say yes and no. My weekends, I'll run into people and, how's the brewery? Now we're talking about that. Hey, maybe I could help you out. Would you want to talk to this guy? Oh yeah, sure. I'd love to, so I'm never off the clock.
Right.
But we've got a really good team over the last 10 years. I think one of the biggest lessons I've taken away is, like, you can't do it yourself. You need good people around you, and you need to trust them to do what they're good at and what they enjoy doing. because the more of that you can do, especially the stuff they like doing, if you can figure out what that is, then it's like you don't have to ask for anything. They just like doing it. They're going to figure it out. They're going to identify problems in your business that they're going to solve for you and go, hey, I fixed this. It's just switching over to that has just made me a lot more gracious of how everything operates. So I've got a great team, a lot of people that I trust to run things when I'm not there. It allows me to come out here and do a podcast, on a Wednesday night or whatever. So that's been really critical. And fairly early on, I had people saying like, hey, I was there on Saturday night and I didn't see you. I'm like, that's a good sign. It means we're doing some things right, and next time text me, I'd love to come meet you. But, I pretty early set the expectation that like, I'm not going to be doing 80, 90 hours forever, because I know it's not sustainable. So you got to be kind of smart with your time, right?
In the sales world, we're talking about the number of breweries, local breweries the number has doubled, right? And versus the regional thing, there's oftentimes this very appealing, from my perspective, approach to trying to teach John Q customer to work on his business and not in his business. And it's like, it's tough because there are mom and pop spots where the wife is behind the counter, she's the server and he's on the line or whatever, and just open to close 6 or 7 days for 35 years. And it's they're not going hungry. They're paying their bills, and it's like,
and I've met people that they love that. Like that's where they want to be. And I'm like, that's great. Not me, but
right.
That's,
but in the, that works for you. It's fantastic. But if a person is interested in growing, you do have to lean into that a little bit. And so, like, I know you wear a lot of hats, but in the 1 week at a time glance of operating Border, like, how are you slicing up all the things that you've got to do?
Hiring good people matters, obviously, like I said. Systemizing your business, I think, is something that in the last year I've been working on, where let's break this down into, let's say I'm selling the business and somebody wants to know, how do I operate? I need an owner's manual for how everything works, right? So going through that exercise, and I can do that, and then I can go, which one of these things am I doing? Which one of these things should I be doing? Like, probably a lot fewer than I am. And then how can I find somebody or outsource this or whatever, so that my time can be working on the business development, moving things forward, versus just being bogged down by task work. Because that is very real. And especially if you're by yourself, there's so much task work that the working on the business thing, it's like, I just don't have time for that.
And so you just
and you should make time even if you're in that situation. I think, like, just an hour or two to like step back and try to do some of this, but it does feel overwhelming, and it seems like there's kind of this threshold of, once you have one or two people kind of helping you, okay, now I can breathe.
We were talking before we were rolling about the social media piece and having a person and now not having a person. But did you say that so you're sort of stepping into that and you kind of enjoy it?
I stepped in. I was like, okay, so now this has happened. I'm going to take 1 to 2 months and dive in and just do everything and grind it out, and it's going to suck. And then I'm going to figure out which pieces I need help with, that take the most amount of my time. And then I'm going to find somebody that can help with that stuff. What happened was, like, I kind of fell in love with making content for the brewery. Like, it just became fun. It was creative. I don't get a lot of an opportunity to be creative. So it's a nice, like, just release at the, I'm usually doing it kind of at the end of my day for an hour, where I'm even just editing videos or something that's just different. It's mixed things up for me. So is it the most valuable use of my time? Some of it, maybe not, but for my mental health, there's something to be said about just like having something kind of fun to do.
Absolutely. But also a lot of that stuff, you can't, it's not like you run your Z report and then you look at sales the next day. Yesterday, you can't look at the value of doing something like that tomorrow.
It's
and be like
impossible to get an ROI on marketing. It frustrates the shit out of me, especially as an engineer, because like I love metrics. I love seeing a number. If I'm going to make a decision and you can tell me you're going to spend $1,000, but it's bringing you in $5,000. I'm like, great, that's a no brainer. What if we spend 5,000? Can we do, like that stuff's easy because it's numbers. With marketing, you throw money at it and then hopefully business goes up, but you really can't tie it directly to anything. And so
to add this to your plate of late, or did you have to take a couple of things and delegate, or are there things just being neglected because you're making content?
No, honestly, I feel like I've made it all work. Mark, my brewer GM, number 2 generalist, is just awesome. He's a hard worker, and when there's tasks that need to be done, he's just after it. So that's huge, right?
Nice.
So it's afforded me time to do some of this stuff, but like I've heard, if you're a small business, you should be spending a chunk of your time, maybe up to half of it on marketing. And to me, I see it as that's what I'm doing. Like this is marketing.
Yes.
And people talk about social media marketing. In my opinion, I see a lot of businesses doing social media advertising and not social media marketing. And like the difference is advertising is an ask. It's please come down. Here's our product. Here's what we're doing. Come on down and check out our beer, right? Which is very direct. But the way social media works now, like that stuff doesn't work. It's not engaging. People don't want to hear it. We're really good at when you're scrolling through your feed at identifying an ad, even if it's kind of a shielded ad of like, so marketing is, in my opinion, on social media, providing some kind of value. It's a silly TikTok where you're lip syncing to something. It's an educational piece where you're telling something and just saying this could be useful to you. It's whatever. It's offering something that's a little more engaging. And the only advertisement is the fact that for us, our handle is Border Brew Co at the bottom.
Yeah.
And if you see enough of our videos, like, who are these guys? And you check them out. I might go check them out. Or you're walking by and you're like, oh, those are the guys that do the silly TikToks.
Yeah.
I kind of like them. And there's a feeling that comes with it. So
who I had that experience with, and I still haven't been there, but I really want to, is Hillsiders.
Oh,
and
yeah.
KCK. It's like
cool spot.
Their Instagram posts, I just love them.
Yeah.
And it's like belly up for a Pabst and a whiskey shot for whatever. And then we've got bands, and sometimes and I'm just like I really want to, it's not the easiest thing in the world, especially with this and small, to go to KCK and have drinks.
Yeah.
And then come home, because then it's like, fuck, I was going to use those 5 hours to do some stuff.
Right.
Anyway,
Right, yeah.
but I will not.
But it's top of mind, and that's
for months and months.
And especially with social media, it's hard to do that. But if you can, then now you're just moving the needle a little bit. People are in the neighborhood and they see your storefront, like, oh yeah, we should pop in there. I've been meaning to, or whatever. And like I said, there's no ROI that I can tie to it. I can't say how many dollars it's made us.
Yep.
So the only metric I use is like people come up to me and they're like, I've been seeing your videos and I really love them. Like unsolicited. I'm not asking them, but people are coming up and commenting to me about the videos. And so I'm like, that's great. That means it's working. It's getting out to people.
Yeah.
I'm in the brewery. They've come in. So I think that can be a really effective form of marketing if it's done right. I'm
really glad you used that phrase, because I say it to myself, I don't know how many times a week, and here's where it happens. The evening has gone the way that it's gone, and finally people are in bed, and I've got whatever, smoothies are ready for tomorrow, coffee's ready, the dog's, it's like I got to come down here and work on my conversation with Eric in the editing process, because 90 minutes is 180
whatever.
And so like where I'll open that basement door and take those first couple steps, and it's like just moving the needle a little bit. I don't have to get all the way through part at, just move the needle a little bit.
I love that metaphor for that reason, because like it's like it feels like running a business, nothing's ever done.
Oh my gosh, no.
So it's like you're never just like, there we go, now I can go to the beach, just not work forever,
cruise control for 30 years.
And
no worries.
maybe a business gets to the point where that's the case, but I'd be bored. I'd be back in that trailer in central Oklahoma again.
Wonder
trying
if
to
any
figure
of
out
those
something to do.
engineering firms are hiring.
God, no. There was a day where I was having a particularly rough day at the brewery, and I was just, venting to my wife about it. She goes, well, you can always go back to your engineering job. I was like, I'm back. I'm good. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll be back at it tomorrow. But
What else you got there? Can I taste another one of those?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's the backyard lager, which is
that the
light lager, all Pilsner malt, and then the pale ale, which is sort of a old school West Coast pale ale.
I'm gonna take one of each while I have it in my hand.
Go for it. So the pale ale, that's a homebrew recipe that we've kind of tweaked over the years, but it's basically been the same for a decade.
Okay.
It's kind of the one. Somebody said to me earlier, like, you're going to have to brew the beers you don't like so you can brew the beers you do like. So, like, everybody makes, like, the strawberry blonde, I like it. It's not the one I go to all the time,
Sure.
but it's paying the bills. This is definitely one that I made for myself. Like,
Patio Pale Ale. It's a dark. The lighting's not the greatest in here.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. 5.4?
5.4.
Okay. Cute can. Cute. Nice color scheme.
Cascade and Simcoe hops. Cheers.
That's good stuff.
And I just, like, when I was homebrewing, I went through a dozen different hop iterations and, like, recipe iterations before I finally was like, there it is. Okay, that's
Cool.
the one that I want.
Yeah.
And pale ales, there's a million of them.
Yeah.
So it's like you might as well make it the way that you like it, and then.
I like that as well. The make the beer you don't like so you can make the beer you do like. I try to say this to my kids all the time who have old guy Gen X soapbox alert.
Sure.
The easiest lives and want for nothing, and it's like they have to make their bed, eat, they have to read a little bit, and they have to practice the piano. Like they're not, I had so many chores as a kid.
Yeah.
And it was just like, my friends would, like, when we were, go to my house after school because nobody's home. But 5:15, if my chores were undone, they were scattering because they didn't want to be there when my mom got home.
Mom's coming
to
home.
Unleash on me for.
Yeah.
But anyway, I, always say, if you would only, and I didn't come up with this, I stole it from somewhere. If you would only do the things that you don't want to do, then you could do all the things that you do want to do.
Yeah.
All of the time.
Yeah, it's so true.
And the same is true for, so reach out to you, choose a new date. We have our conversation, and then I'm editing. And then, I got to put a little promo and some music and blah, blah, blah. And it's like the last thing I want to do after looking, when I'm editing, I'm cutting between the two cameras.
Right.
And when you have a long run of saying something, I'm like, cool, this is fresh. I wasn't tuned in this way when we were talking. So I'm like experiencing it new. And then it cuts to me and I'm like, would you shut up? Like, I don't want to look at my face.
God,
I don't want to hear my voice.
Yeah,
so it's like, I get through all that and then I got to record just a little. And it's just like,
you've been hard on yourself now for however long.
Yeah. And that's like, now I got to do this little thing where it's just me and my dumb voice and my dumb face. And it's like, if you just do that, then you get right back to all the pieces that you enjoy about doing this.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That whole love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life is such bullshit, man.
Right.
It's that work is work, man.
Yeah.
I think the alternative to that I've heard recently that I like, is like, just enjoy the work, enjoy the hard work.
Yeah.
It may suck. There's an element of it that sucks, but if you can kind of embrace the suck and like learn to kind of fall in love with that in a weird way, it doesn't mean it has to be like you're on a beach sipping margaritas, but like that this is part of the process. And I kind of like this because I know, like, it's like going to the gym or something. Like, eventually, like, I used to hate going to the gym. It's become a thing in my life where like I need to do it now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I enjoy going because I know it's going to suck, but I know I'm going to feel good right after. I know I'm going to feel good the next morning. Might be a little sore, but like, and I know if I go 3 or 4 days a week for several weeks, that I'm going to feel awesome and I'm going to just operate better.
Yeah.
So
My boy's been playing basically year-round hoops for almost a couple of years now, and I know this feeling well. But he and his sister both, like struggle to get through that broken sweat moment.
Yeah.
And then once they're there, it's kind of like sailing. And so
Yeah.
and he's also like, he really doesn't lock in a game until he makes his first bucket. And then all of a sudden, and so I've said, why don't you like, I used to think this was crazy as a spectator, put a hoodie on and put the hood up for warm-ups. And he's like, and he is a
Just zone out.
sweating machine. Like he and his mom are cut from that. They just buck my daughter and I, like, my buddy on that 22-mile bike race, like, dude, you're not even, she was wringing out his shirt, and I'm like, just one little beat. I'm like, I don't know. It's just, but go make yourself sweat and warm up.
Yeah.
So that way you're kicked into that gear before tip off.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to be frustrated and dealing with body temperature regulation and just get in there. And it's
the same with like work too, right? Like, I really don't want to do this. And if you take the first 5 minutes and just get started and start sweating on it, and then you're in it, and you're like, okay, now I'm rolling. I'm going to keep going. And then a few minutes in, you're like, oh, this isn't so bad.
Right.
It's like I'm knocking it out and I'm making progress, and there's something that feels good from that. But getting that like feedback loop to like, this is going to suck. Okay, I'm doing it and it sucks. Okay, I finished it. It wasn't as bad as I thought, and I feel better now that it's done.
Absolutely.
I want to do it again.
Yeah.
And then like, you got to kind of get the whole loop together.
Yep.
And I don't know how old are your kids?
She went to freshman orientation this morning.
Oh man, high school.
Yeah, and he's going into 6th.
Okay.
So.
I have a 4-year-old, so
Okay.
I won't pretend to know what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
But like, I think especially for kids, it's like, that's a complicated thing to learn or to train or whatever it is. So like, and for adults too, even. I mean, it's like, you have to have lots of repetitions of that. It sucks. It's not that bad. I feel better. I want to do it again, and like kind of over and over again. The more you do that stuff, and that's why, like, for me, the gym, it's like about physical and mental shape, but also just that like psychological thing of like, this is going to suck. I'm manufacturing struggle and stress in my life, like on a regular basis, so that when I have 2 pieces of equipment break down, like it did on Monday on the same day,
Don't lose your mind.
That fight or flight thing, I've got some familiarity with it. I'm like, okay, that's all it is. This reaction, I can stay calm and focus, and I can be a better business owner.
Well, there's feel good piece to it in the mental health. There's resistance training is I think been proven to prolong life, and
Absolutely.
and even if you leave the gym and just your day is just dog shit all the way till bedtime, at least you did that.
Yeah.
Like, if the day wasn't, there's no way you could say it was a total loss of a day.
Right. I did something. Yeah. And sometimes that's all you need.
I know.
Yeah.
So are you born and raised in the area?
Yes. I was born in St. Luke's Hospital.
Okay.
There in Westport. My daughter was too, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
It's changed since then.
Right.
And my family moved around a little bit. So as a kid, I was in LA for a little bit, Houston, ended up back in Kansas City in elementary school, and grew up here.
Okay. So. Do you have siblings?
I do. I have a younger brother that also lives here in town. My folks still live in the house that I grew up in Overland Park. So, yeah.
How did they connect initially? Do you know?
My parents?
Yeah.
Oh, good question. They were both from the Kansas City area, and I think their families kind of knew each other. And after college, they kind of connected and started dating.
Okay, so right on.
Yeah.
Did they're still in the home you grew up in? Did they put on music to listen to in that home when you guys were young?
Yeah, they did. My mom and dad had very different musical tastes. My dad was kind of more 70s hippie / rock and roll. My mom was Beach Boys and kind of more pop stuff. And so they used to joke, like, kind of give each other shit for it.
Sure.
The one album that when they moved in together, they told me the story that they both had was Elton John. Is it Yellow Brick Road?
That is such a good record.
It is. And so
I was just talking because the Billy Joel doc is amazing. If you haven't seen it,
I'll have to check it out.
It's so good. Oh my gosh, it's 2 parts, 2.5 hours a piece.
Okay.
But I was talking to some friends, texting with some buddies that I used to do that blog project with, and Elton came up, and somebody was saying something about Elton and this, that, and the other thing. I said, you know what? Like, go. I know this is a weird ask, but you got to do it. Go put on Yellow Brick Road, put on headphones, and skip the hits.
Oh yeah, so many good songs.
The rhythm section, the bass player, the drummer. I mean, and the stories.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
Just amazing. Anyway.
Yeah.
You're both...
Yeah. It was a great album, and like. So there was a lot of Elton John, and actually a few years ago when he was doing his farewell tour, he was at Sprint Center. It got postponed because of the pandemic.
Okay.
My dad bought my mom tickets for Christmas, but then the pandemic hit. It got pushed. It got pushed again, and they had something the week that it got pushed.
Oh dang!
And my dad was like, "Would you and your wife want to go? Would you and Tracy want to go?" I was like, "Yeah, but like, you want to go, surely, right?" He's like, "It's fine. You guys go. It'll be fun." I was like, "I feel terrible. Like, I know you spent good money on these tickets. It's his farewell tour." And he was like, "I saw Elton John in 1970 something at Arrowhead when he's telling me this whole story. And then I saw him again. And this year I was like, okay, you've probably seen like peak versions."
Yeah,
I was like, I don't feel as bad now. But got to go and see him live. And yeah, just so many songs that like just reminded me of childhood.
Man.
And yeah. So that's cool how it can take you back.
He first, hit my radar for Empty Garden.
Okay.
I think I'm probably a little bit older than you, but this is like late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
And the chorus, the refrain to the song is, "And I've been knocking, but no one answers. Can't you come out to play?" And it's for John Lennon.
Oh, okay.
It's such a good tune.
Yeah.
And it's sad,
Yeah.
but it's a really good, he gifted.
Yeah, that's cool.
Gifted dude.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this, what the folks that are raising us are playing in the home or in the car when we're little, and then this sort of pivot to taking that first step down the path of your own taste.
Yeah.
Is there an album or a song, not from the list that you shared with me, but something that stands out as a first sort of light bulb or eye opener to oh wow, that's not something I heard from mom and dad, but I really like that. A first buy with your own money or a borrow from a buddy.
Yeah, man, that's tough. It would have been in high school. You know, I remember going to Best Buy and just picking things up. God, I was a nerdy kid. So there was eventually Real Music, but Weird Al Yankovic was like big back then, and like the parody stuff, and for some reason I just thought that was funny as like a middle schooler, and like
Absolutely.
I listened to the shit out of like everything that he came out with. I don't know why that was, but
because it was awesome.
Yeah.
I did it in '83 with Eat It. You know,
yeah.
I bought the album.
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
a greatest hits. And recently with my son, we've gone through, and it's like, okay, here's Gangster's Paradise.
Yeah.
Now here's Amish Paradise,
yeah.
and my kids are like,
yeah, it's just cool that he doesn't have to reach out to artists to get their approval, but did it anyway. At least is how I heard it, and
yep.
So yeah, I remember hearing some of that. I wouldn't say that it informed my taste of music very much, other than it probably there was some songs that I was like, oh, I need to listen to the actual version now. Yeah. But really, I think live music has been the area where I'm like, oh, I like that, and I didn't know I would. So my dad was a trumpet player.
Okay.
And I still have his old trumpet. And growing up, I always wanted to play it. When you're, as a kid, it's like elementary school. When you're a little older, he had this old shitty bugle that he'd give us. We could beat that up and it didn't matter. But he didn't want us to mess up his trumpet. And then eventually, I think 5th grade was where I could play it in school. 4th grade, he kind of started letting me play around with it. And so I liked playing instruments. I've always been like a melody guy. Like I'll hear a song and hear all the parts of it, but no lyrics. Kind of like that's just kind of how my brain works. I actually, when my wife and I started dating, I like sent her a song. I was like, you have to listen to this. It's so awesome. And she's like, this is a breakup song. What did you just send me? Like, what are you doing? I was like, I wasn't listening to that part. You know, that kind of thing.
Do you remember what it was?
I wish I could. She might remember.
That's right.
Because she probably remembers the words.
Yeah.
So I loved playing trumpet. I did that all the way through high school. And that's, so the list I gave you, is kind of in line with that. But like Dave Matthews Band was the first real like live show I went to out at Sandstone, got invited. I was like, whatever, the Crash Into Me guy, fine. And, just the level of skill of the people playing on that stage.
I love to say Carter Beauford for president.
Holy
whenever
shit,
the opportunity
man.
presents itself.
Carter Beauford is insane.
Yeah.
I mean,
and happy.
Yeah.
All of the time.
Yeah. The level of energy, the golf gloves. I love the whole thing. Yeah. And just I'd never seen like the jam band improvisation, like stuff kind of getting passed around that seamlessly before. And I was in high school at this point, so I was playing marching band, concert band type of stuff, but there was no free form to that. It was, here's your part, here's what you play. And I enjoyed it. So to see that and just see people look at each other and know when to start and stop, that just like, I was like, holy cow, this is incredible.
I repeat myself on here a lot, and I'll try to remember to send this to you when we're done if you haven't seen it, but I'm a big Fish guy.
Okay.
82 shows. My kids are named after him,
Cool.
blah, blah, blah. So there's a fairly, I think it was this spring, for some awards show, something or other, but Trey from Fish comes on stage with Dave, DMB, and they do Lie in Our Graves.
Oh, cool.
Which the Crash album just stands the test. So good.
Yep.
And Tim's in the background, and Dave's bass player, and Dave, and there's a keyboard player, there's two horn players, and then there's Carter, and at some point you get glimpses of all of them, and they're all smiling.
Yeah.
Like, this is not shit we do when you're not here.
Yeah.
And Carter, there's a big build up, and Trey turns around to break it down facing Carter. And Carter gets through and points at him with his drumstick and does another roll and then stands and points at him again.
Yeah.
And then Dave and Trey come together at the front of the stage, and they take that directly into this interesting little cover of Clapton's Wonderful Tonight.
Oh, cool.
It's just the coolest thing.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking like this.
Yeah. For some reason, that's always just been really cool to me. And like, I mean, I might be jumping ahead.
No, you're good.
I don't know if, but so like that whole thing was really cool. And eventually I stopped playing trumpet when I graduated college, still had it. My dad's old horn. That's all I played. And, get out of school, take this job, meet my wife who's working for like a metals company. We go to her company Christmas party, and I sit next to this guy, that she works with, Rudy Vasquez, that's talking about this band he's playing in Kansas City. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, what kind of music do you do? Oh, we kind of do like New Orleans jazz, some funk, a lot of originals, some covers. I'm like, that's awesome. What's the name? MGDs. They're still playing.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome. That sounds so fun. I was like, what do you play? He's like, saxophone. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I used to play trumpet back in high school. And his eyes get real wide. He's like, we are looking for a trumpet player. I'm like, no. You don't understand. Used to play in high school. Like, this has been a while. He's like, I don't care. We need somebody. Like, would you be willing to come sit in?
Your cheeks haven't forgotten how to make it.
Yeah, they had. I mean, like, I was like, give me a couple weeks. Like, I need to get, because it's a real thing. You got to get chops up. Like, I'm like, I can't play. So I was traveling. I remember I had a work trip in Tulsa. And so I took my horn. I was in a hotel, took my horn with like the most mute I could get. And was just.
Muty McMuter.
Yeah.
On floor 4 over
just
there.
Like playing in there, trying to get my chops back up. Just playing scales or whatever, and went to this rehearsal that was kind of a trial run to see if it would work, and the guys were awesome, and I played with them for about 3 years.
Cool. Well,
so
let's pump the brakes there.
Yeah.
And we'll circle back.
I know I'm.
Are you good? Do we need to take 5 or?
I'm good if you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So awesome list. I really appreciate you sharing it with me. If we roll through them chronologically.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose if we can backpedal a second step there, I did want to just mention that I thought it was cool that the website has a blog that has some kind of consistency post-wise once or twice a month. Who's hammering those out?
So we've kind of just started that again. That's a combination of myself, and I have a guy that helps with the website and SEO and all that stuff.
Sure.
Blogs are really good for SEO and full disclosure. But it's been like in line with like the content I've been doing. So when I do a piece of educational content about, I'm trying to remember what the last one was. I think we're about to do one, or if we haven't already, that's does NA beer get you drunk? Like, half a percent. So can it get you drunk? You know, that whole thing. So I'm already kind of getting the research done, scripting this thing, writing it, and creating a long caption that is sort of like the summary of what's going on. And it's a chat GPT thing away from creating a blog post that I can go in and like kind of take edits. And so that's kind of how we're doing it. I mean, I read the whole thing. I go in and I'll put my own words in there and make sure it's the way I want. But it's, you know, I don't have a ton of time, but that's the way that it really cuts it down. And so really like it's these educational pieces, this content that I want to get out, and it's different formats. So how can we take that? I put the work in, and how can we get it into reach different people in different places?
Well,
so that's kind of what it's about.
I think I recently started a Substack, so 4-ish blog/online writing projects, long form podcasts. Like most folks aren't interested. I happen to like those things.
Sure. Yeah.
So if somebody's putting any kind of energy into clean, educational, written content on their website, I'm noticing and thinking that's cool.
Yeah, and I think a lot of, especially with content creation, it's about like, are enough people going to like this? Should I say this instead so more people are going to like it? Like, I think the way things are trending now a little bit, and honestly, just who cares? Like, just do the stuff that you're interested in.
Yep.
The algorithms are getting really, really good at finding people that like the stuff that you like. So almost the more niche it is, like it seems like the better you do. Like followers kind of don't matter anymore,
right?
Because it's not like if I look at our analytics and when I put something out, it's still like 90% non-followers that are getting our content.
Yeah.
So it's really just about like, if I say something that I'm knowledgeable about and I find interesting, somebody else out there in the 8 billion people on the planet also will too, right? And if it's 10 people, I've got a really good audience. You know what I mean?
10 more than yesterday.
Yeah. And so like, I try not to get too hung up on that. I like that you said that. Like, I like doing it.
For sure. Yep.
This is the stuff I'm interested in. Like somebody's
somebody's, because people always have, hey man, when year one, I was putting up like 2, 3, 4 TikToks an episode, and it was, the ceiling was 3 minutes long. Mm-hmm. And that just was, there wasn't time for that, but I was just stealing it from elsewhere, and I ran out of steam on it. But, had somebody say, man, you get that down to like 10, 15, maybe 30 seconds, your TikToks. And I'm like, well, I want the piece to be compelling enough for them to consider coming to watch the full thing. And then, man, your episodes, why don't you make your episodes like 30 to 45 minutes long? It's like, because I don't fucking want to. I mean,
and the free form thing where it's just like we're talking about where the conversation is going.
Yeah,
I like that. It's natural. It's not. You could have 6 questions that you ask me, and I've had other interviews, done other podcasts, whatever. It's like, I'm going to give you the same answers. Yeah. It's not interesting. We're not talking about weird stuff.
Well, I stretch my 90-minute Eric Martens episode into 3 episodes for 3 weeks. It's Eric Martens. Like, no, I mean,
no, God.
Anyway,
nobody wants to hear me that long. Just get it over with. I'm just kidding.
1959, Kind of Blue, Miles Davis. 30 of 63 for him. 5 tracks, 45 minutes. East St. Louis by way of Alton, Illinois. This one's made a few lists on the show. You had the lead-off track as a parenthetical. What's the story there, and how about the whole album as well?
This album was gifted to me when I was too young to really understand anything behind jazz. I mean, I was second, third grade, I think, but I'd already expressed interest in trumpet. So I had a grandmother that for Christmas gave me these albums, and I was kind of
on CD.
On CD.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on CD. This would have been mid '90s, I guess. And that first track, So What, just hit me. Like, you listen to it and it's like you can hear the words "so what" even though you can't. And just his style, it's like I had this image at a young age of what trumpet sounded like that Miles Davis just shatters, right? Like, I mean, it's he had a unique, like completely recognizable timbre to the way he played the horn, and I think it just formed my opinion. It forged my opinion of like what trumpet could be. And I think it's so interesting with trumpet players that if you listen to some of the ones that have a lot of music out there, like you just know it's them. It's not a voice. It's a mouthpiece and a horn, and that makes some difference. But like some of these guys could be on the same horn, they'd sound totally different. Right. So it's like the better that you get on trumpet, the more you kind of find your own voice. As weird as that sounds, like even on an instrument.
Yeah.
So and he was a really good example, I think, of like someone that's like, that's Miles Davis. As soon as you hear him play trumpet, you know what I mean?
You know what's fascinating? I mentioned this being 30 of 63. I had many episodes ago, jazz jazz guitarist come and sit with me, and he had a big list. And I think he said, so here's 10 records that I want to talk about, but also here's 5 artists, and you can pick anything from them. And somewhere in the mix was the phrasing, Miles Davis Quintet, version A and version B, and I was like, what? And I went and looked, and so you got all these Miles Davis records, and then you have Miles Davis Quintet with 4 dudes, like all of the names you would recognize.
Oh, okay.
And they put out 6 or 7, I don't know how.
Know about
and then
that,
and then a couple Miles Davis records, and then a new quintet with Herbie Hancock and a whole new, and it's like, and you put some of those on, you're like, dude.
Yeah. It sounds like I need to do some more listening.
I mean, I'm not trying to like give you jazz homework, but like just the fact that he did that.
Yeah.
If you ever put on one of those records or not, it's just really cool that this huge body of work, and in the middle of it all, he has 2 runs with just
other superstars.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
that's so cool. I'm like, there may be a little bit of a jaded, cynical part of me that today I see the collaborations and I'm like, this is marketing, this is cross promotion, so you guys can get more viewers. But I don't know that that's always the case. And certainly back then, I think, and having now getting to join a band on a small scale in Kansas City, like there's just a lot of like, that would be fun. Let's fucking do it, And like the things that come from that you wouldn't expect, and just back to the conversation about a bunch of guys being on a stage that don't normally play together, like there's a synergy there that you can't explain with regular words.
I mean, there's a bunch of, and I only know this, not many of them, interesting, funny stories about Miles. Like, might even be for this one where there was no rehearsal.
Really?
Somewhere, and it's just like they just go. Yeah,
one take.
Like, that's the record, and then a situation where they're jamming live and guy over here makes a wrong note and you kind of get just the little twitch of an eyeball from him, like he heard that, and also that's the wrinkle we're gonna go in now. And just
I saw a Victor Wooten quote where he's like, there's no such thing as a wrong note, like you can make it right, was kind of his point. Like it sounds weird here,
right?
But like some of those guys are so like, oh, that didn't mean to do that, but if I do this, then kind of makes sense now. Like such a skill.
Absolutely.
It's easy to freak out and be like, that was not the right note. Kind of.
Well, we take a 40-year leap to get old Dave and Tim for live at
Yeah.
Luther College, 99. 2-disc, 2-hour plus live performance for Tim and Dave out of Charlottesville, Virginia. This made one list, which was episode 47 with Tabitha Jurgensmeyer. You got invited to a DMB show at Sandstone, and then this is on your radar
in high
after
school.
that?
And so I was already playing trumpet at that point. And at that point, I was like, now I'm interested in playing guitar because just the way he did things, the fingerings, it was unique, you know. And so really kind of then around college was, I think, when I got exposed to this album, and I was kind of learning and had another friend that was like, you need to listen to this one. And of course I knew Dave Matthews at that point, but had not heard of Tim Reynolds.
Sure,
And it was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Ended up getting to see Tim Reynolds in Lawrence later on by himself, which was a cool show.
Do you remember the venue?
It was I think it was at the Bottleneck.
Okay.
That's the small one. I haven't
Yeah.
been to Lawrence in a while.
I know.
Small venue. Like,
You don't have a problem patronizing Lawrence establishments?
no, not when it's good music. They had music, man. We didn't.
Yeah.
We had country out there.
Yeah.
But that's not my thing.
Right.
So I was like, I was happy to go with the same friend that introduced me to
cool.
this. He was like, he's playing there. And so that was just, I like the stripped down stuff, you know, like I feel like a lot of those songs are so good and you hear them like that. And if they're good like that, then they're good with production. And it's just really, as far as guitar goes, like that's a top album for me, you know, in terms of acoustic stuff.
I don't remember if I think we talked about it in episode 47 with Tabby, but there's some kind of story where I think Dave is bartending at this joint in Virginia and Tim is playing there or patron, whatever the case may be. And, you know, he says something about like, oh, you play too? I didn't know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of just start messing around and he's like, dude, you should be in a band. He's like, how would I ever? And he's like, just these people right here.
The people here.
And they just,
that's how they got it
Yeah.
going. Yeah. And the, Stefan Lassard, I think, is the bass player, was like the son of a guy playing there, and they just kind of assimilated these guys. Like there seemed to apparently a lot of talent in that bar.
there you go.
Yeah. And I think I heard something about Tim kind of helping Dave in the early days get over stage fright and kind of stage presence type of stuff
100%.
because he'd been doing it. And so like it's cool to see, like, especially like he was at his peak, and it's like, I'm still gonna do this one thing with this one guy that like helped me out.
Yeah.
And, like just kind of that like love that surrounds the music and musicians. I think that's really cool. So yeah.
Well, I knew this record before it made the list for Tabitha, but it was fun to revisit then. It was fun to revisit now. What I didn't know, and I just happened to stumble across it, was that there is a live at Radio City and a live in Vegas record.
They've done more recent ones. Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I've listened to those too.
Have you?
Oh yeah.
Are they fun?
Yeah, they're all great. I mean,
Cool.
yeah, the recording's a little better on those because they're newer and different songs, newer songs, and like they're all good. I mean,
Cool.
Tim Reynolds is a beast, and it's just they do good together.
5-year leap, 2004, Hot Fuss, The Killers, first to 7 for them, 11 tracks, 45 minutes. Speaking of Vegas, alternative rock out of Sin City. How'd these guys land in your lap, and why is this one earn a spot?
So this is, I was just out of college. They were kind of coming on the map, heard them on the radio, didn't really care either way about them. And we were at a bar where 96.5 was doing some kind of promotion thing, right? And so a friend of mine goes over this. He's like, I'm gonna go see what's going on over there. Comes back. He's like, I just got 2 tickets to this show. Killers are playing at Sandstone, or can't keep track of what they keep calling it.
It's always Sandstone.
Okay,
It's always Sandstone.
Okay, I'm glad you agree. It makes it easy for me. And so he's like, would you want to go? I don't think my girlfriend's gonna want to go. Like, I was like, yeah, sounds fun. Sure, whatever. So she comes over. What are you guys talking about? Oh, this just happened, blah, blah. She's like, that's awesome. When are we going to go? And I'm like, it's fine. You guys go. It's not a big deal. He's like, well, go see if you can get more tickets, you know? So I walk up there and like, here's what happened. Can I just get another ticket? I really want to go with them. And they're like, we'll give you 2 tickets. You got to find a stranger in the bar to bring with you. And we'll let you go. We'll give you the 2 tickets. So I turn around and start panning, and I see another one of our friends coming out of the bathroom. That's a good friend. I'm like, I'm just going to cheat. So, hey, John, pretend you don't know me. Don't ask any questions. Done. All right, cool. So he walks up. Never met before. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So they give us 2 tickets. The 4 of us all go to this show. And again, like I'm killers, whatever. I'm like, this will just be a fun time to go out with friends and drink some beers. The show was awesome. Like, nice. Again, just seeing them live, I'm like, oh, that's what they sound like. It's one of those, like, if they say they sound just like they do on the radio, I'm like, that's not, you know, that's fairly easy. If they sound better, if there's an element that's missing on the radio when you're listening to it in your car that you get in a live show, to me, that's exciting. Yeah. And really got that from that show. I've seen them a couple more times since then. And then like the same songs, you know, Mr. Brightside, I think, was the one that was all over the radio. And
well,
I was like,
I'm looking at your list, right? And I was like, 2 of these records I know. 2 will be interesting in terms of new and or revisits that I'd forgotten about.
Sure.
So when I threw this on, I was like, oh. I mean, I knew the name, right?
Yeah.
But this starts playing, I'm like, this sounds wicked familiar. It's like, oh, shit. I know this track. Yeah. I know this track. Yeah. I know this track. Good energy across the board, really. Like, it was fun.
Yeah. It's fun. And just like that, again, like that live show, like I kind of like when the radio came on and I heard Mr. Brightside, I would turn to another station before that, honestly. But then something about seeing it live, and then I heard it on the radio again, and it was an entirely different song.
Wow!
Like it just, I heard parts differently. Of course, there's the memory of just like going back to that, and so yeah, it was just kind of a transformation of how I saw a band. And again, like live music, there's something about it where. You just hear things differently. There's a different energy, and then it carries with you when you listen to it on an album later, I think.
For sure. And then another decent leap, 2016. Wake Up, the MGDs. Right. 2 of 5, 12 tracks, 73 minutes. We've already touched on them a little bit, but you're at this thing, and I played trumpet in high school. Dude's eyes light up. And then
I dig up the old horn, knock the dust out of it, practice a little bit, go to this rehearsal, and there were 5 guys, so I was the 6th. They were looking for this trumpet player. They were wrapping up another album, and I think this was the first. So this was the first one we all did together. And just an amazing experience to be able to be part of a band. Like I'd never expected to do, high school band. This is very different. Going to a rehearsal space and drinking beer and smoking weed and what are we going to do next and how do we want this song to go? Just a way different creative environment. And just especially with 6 guys, the amount of respect you have to have for everything to work and for shows to go well, for songs to go well, for people to not care about who's getting credits on which song or which part.
I was just going to say, it has to, the parts all have to go well when you're in each other's presence, but they also all have to go well when you're not for this piece to work.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And so so when I first got there, they were like, we're wrapping this album up. Can you step into the studio and do a couple horn lines for the stuff we've done? I'm like, yeah, sure. So that was fun. But this was the first one that we kind of wrote all together, did the album together, and just a lot of good times, and like some really, really good friends that eventually I started the brewery, and kind of the band was going well. They were starting to travel. I was like,
they've got a bunch of 2025 dates on their website right now.
Awesome.
So I mean, they're still, and this was what did I say, 2 of 5. So they put out 3 more records since then. So they're still doing, but that was the thing.
And it was so. I remember the first moment where so Rudy, the saxophone player, and I, so I went in, kind of played a little bit with them. They're like, "This is awesome. We'd love to have you back if you want to do it." I was like, "Sounds fun. Yeah, I'm in. Like, I can do this." Rudy and I spent hours in his basement, like going through all of the library that they'd already written and finding horn lines, putting stuff in. And we're like, we're going to go through this when we get back to rehearsal. And like, we get halfway through the first song and they stop and they're just laughing. And I'm like, oh no, what did I do wrong? They're like, no, this is incredible. Like they'd been playing these songs for years. The original guys, Matt, Greg, and Damon, that's MGDs.
Oh, okay.
They were high school friends, started the band in high school, and have been playing a lot of these tunes for like a decade or longer.
And all the while being like, if we only had a...
And they were like, it'd be cool to bring horns into this. And so we wrote these lines, and they didn't know what we were going to write.
Oh,
and so
funny.
we just interject these lines, and they're like, this is so cool. So it's cool to see them like get revitalized on these old songs
great.
and kind of get back to life and to be a part of that. And yeah, just really, really strong friendships that I forged through that with those guys. And, they're just like, there were days where it's like, somebody's like, can we just do this tune? I just want to hear it again. Yeah, let's do it. We would work on new stuff. We'd do covers, but I got exposed to a lot of good music, a lot of the Kansas City music scene that I wouldn't have seen, where just collaborations and people doing shows together and helping each other out. And it's such a cool scene to be in here in Kansas City. And I had no idea, I would have gone to a show and seen a band and not known that guy knows that guy, and they play together in this other band.
Yeah.
And there's
yeah,
so
they're
much
all
overlap,
everybody's
so.
in like 3 other bands besides this one.
Yeah. It took me a while to learn some of that. So just a really, really cool experience.
Very fun. It's a great list. Thank you for sharing it. I really appreciate it. I want to open this backyard lager.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
Yeah, do it.
4.4, and this is the workhorse, or
Yeah, this is the Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light replacement. Just easy drinking, real clean. So
that's what's up right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a real long stay in IPAville.
Yep.
And it was like, if I'm going to, as I age, continue to drink beers,
Yeah.
one or, maybe 2, but then I want to get back to easy drink. It's just not everybody's the same, right? I want to get back to like easy drinking, refreshing.
I think there's a
not
lot of
so
people
bloated.
kind of getting back to that, and it's almost like pardon my nerdy language, but I love the word homeostasis, right? Where like everything's in balance, and it's like if you look at the history of beer, like it's always been something like this.
Yeah.
So we can go try this new stuff out, and I love that American craft beer just like takes things to the extreme and tries it out because that's what makes it fun. But it's almost like there's this gravitational pull back to like, hey, this is what's kind of worked, and there's probably some reason for it that maybe we don't fully understand. That, it's still that way in Germany. It's still that way across the world. So I love the experimentation. Don't get me wrong. But
Cool.
Yeah, I like it.
I like to close with a series of goofy questions.
Sweet.
And then we'll wrap and get you out of here.
Sounds good.
So the first is you're given the ability to have coffee with anyone or beer of your choosing, dead or alive.
Oh, God.
Who's it going to be and why?
Oh, man. Anybody, dead or alive? Well, we're talking about music, so I'm kind of going there. And the name that comes to me for some reason is Elvis Presley.
Really?
Just because I don't know that he would have been a real interesting person necessarily. Maybe he was. I would be really interested to know what it was like to go from where he started to where he ended up fame-wise. Like maybe there's a better example of this, but who's a who's a person that went from nothing to absolutely everybody knew who they were so quickly
On that scale?
on that scale? I
I
mean,
mean, Ed Sheeran, but not as he's
yeah,
not on that scale.
yeah. But there's Taylor Swift, and there's, like there's other people
Taylor
at that
Swift
level.
got put on the bill of opening for Tim McGraw because the person that he had, something happened and they had to like bail. It wasn't going to work. And so it throws her on there. And
That's amazing. That's so cool. Yeah, maybe not Elvis Presley. Somebody like that.
well, it's very, very fascinating because I have watched some podcasts where the concept of famous people literally not knowing how to operate in the real world because they're just 18 layers.
Yeah.
And so like for somebody that actually at one point did
Right.
operate and then you hit
And
that.
like take Taylor Swift for an example. Her journey's been a decade or more. Like it's been a ramp up. Like I'm sure it was fast and fame came, but like that overnight, like all of a sudden thing, I can't imagine what that would be like to just be a normal dude. And then within probably
well, there's so many pieces of minutia, like the most annoying errand that we run in our regular, whatever it is, different for everybody. The pharmacy, the dry, whatever it is, and then you can't do any of those things anymore because
you
you're
literally
exposed,
can't, even if you wanted to.
blah blah blah.
And you probably want to,
and then you reach, man, I wish I could just go to the CVS.
yeah. And then like what becomes your biggest annoyance? It's the fact that
people talking to me,
they're not all green M&Ms in the green room or whatever. You hear about these divas, but it's like they're not exposed to like real life any kind of a challenge. Everything's so comfortable that. If somebody that like really rose to fame that quickly, I think psychologically that's interesting. It'd be an interesting person to talk to about like, what was that like before and after? And,
yes.
How did you handle it?
If we can pretend or imagine that we all have a personal and a professional bucket list, things we want to accomplish, do, experience, whatever, for the amount of time we're here, you're given all the necessary resources to go knock out your number one on each, personal and professional. What are those number ones?
Oh, man. Okay. Personal is tough because if it's just an amount of money, I don't know if that would get me the personal bucket list thing. I mean, it's like you want peace. You want to feel like what you did in life mattered, and you had kind of deathbed type of stuff. But if I could have the resources, like there's a lot of places in the world that I'd still like to travel. I've gotten like every time I go somewhere, I come back with something where I'm like, man, the world can work like that too. So, and I've only been to a few places internationally and around the country, even in the US. I mean, like, and so like just the more exposure to that, I feel like it's just been so interesting. And I learned so much from that process. So bucket list, infinite resources, infinite time. I'm going everywhere on the planet.
Cool.
I'm touching every inch, I guess. Professional, if I had all the money in the world and I didn't have to do the task work and all that we talked about earlier, I could just step back. I think I got into this business because, like I said, I enjoyed that experience of talking to people and kind of seeing that light bulb moment of like, oh, this is cool. I didn't know it could work that way. So I like that. I also, over the last decade, have started to feel the responsibility of the fact that I produce alcohol. And I've seen people that don't tolerate alcohol well, that have a bad relationship with it. And I feel a little bit of a responsibility from that. And I think in general, what we're doing is a good thing because it's quality over quantity. We're fostering these situations where it's about having one or two, but not 10 or 12 regularly, right? And appreciating what's in it and having a a sense of connection with the product and all that stuff.
And bringing people together. I mean,
Yeah.
people, hey, let's meet up for a beer.
Yeah.
I know this great spot that, you know, I'm not saying we're healthy and restored, but going through that pandemic vortex is kind of
Yeah.
like, is this the end of
Right.
us?
Yeah. And
That's one of the reasons why no virtuals. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
connect.
It's different. It's different when you're in the same room together. Right. And so like, I kind of lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
A little bit. No, you said something I wanted to, so that's exactly right. Like that sense of community. So there are all these like scientists that now the whole thing is like the most optimal amount of alcohol for your health is 0. Right.
Right.
Even one beer is doing this and that. I'm like, you are getting way too analytical about this because you're missing out on this social benefit you get of connecting with somebody over a beer or two, where things are lubricated, you get to connect more quickly. And like, I just went to Baltimore with some friends and we drank a lot and my body was not happy, but my soul was, because I got to, like, these are like a friend that I hadn't seen in a long time. One guy I had met before, another guy I hadn't met before. And like, we were buds by the end of that trip. Right. So like, did we make the best decisions? Maybe not. We were safe, but like, but it accelerated that connection. And like,
Also, I mean, isn't it 4 ingredients for the
barley,
water,
hops, yeast, and water. That's it.
I mean,
So-
in moderation. How
Right.
could that be?
Right. Yeah, I love the phrase everything in moderation, including moderation. Like, it's okay every once in a while to let yourself go.
Yeah.
I think it's also good to make sure you keep yourself in check. Like, if you can't take some time off and you feel like you need it, then maybe it's time to like visit your relationship with it. Anyway, all of this is to say, that health balance kind of thing that fits into all this, where I see people right now, especially on social media, that are either like, you got to get wasted all the time to have fun, or this is horrible for you, you should quit, and alcohol is the devil. It's always somewhere in the middle. And so I think developing, and we're already kind of doing this, but like feeling like the business, or developing a business around something where it's all about balance and people's personal choices and education, so that you're providing something where people's lives are just improved a little bit in some way. If that's a beer, awesome. If it's like, I'm kind of struggling with alcohol right now, it's like, I got some resources for you, or here's some things you could do. Here's what I've done, you know, because I've done dry January and all that kind of stuff. We have an NA beer, 2 of them actually, that we're the only ones doing it locally here in Kansas City. I think Boulevard has one, but we're the local guys doing it. So
I mean, in the rise of the mocktail world, I gotta believe some folks are asking for them.
Yeah, it's been going well, and so just having that kind of like more all-encompassing approach of like, hey, I've been going to the gym, but I'm drinking a lot of beer. I don't know what to do. Like, just kind of more health. I was pre-med in college. Also decided to go the engineering route, but I've always had this kind of desire to like help people with whatever's going on with them in some way. I think in a very distant way with a tap room, we're kind of doing that by the social connection, but kind of growing that out into something where it's like, you know, I want to stop drinking, or I don't know if I feel good about this, just kind of being in a place where I feel like we're able to help people just improve their lives, or, you know, get a little more out of it.
You have awareness about it. You're putting mental energy into it. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So I don't know where that goes. This is very nebulous.
It doesn't have to go anywhere right now.
But that's kind of where my mind's at. It's also like, it's hard to think about what I would do, what the next thing is, because so often it's, here's what's right in front of me.
Absolutely.
I had a burner go out, and we had an air conditioning coil that was leaking that we had to get replaced. So it's been an expensive equipment week, and that's on my mind, right? So sometimes that happens, and it's hard to think about the big stuff.
Yeah.
But
I always used to, whenever I would call somebody, if I reach and make tables down, it's like, I'm in the wrong business. These equipment repair guys are just
right,
printing money.
$200 to show up.
Yeah,
you know,
we haven't even started yet.
Yeah, usually the more they charge to show up, the more I'm over their shoulder like, show me what you're doing. I
Yeah.
want to see if I can do this next time,
Exactly.
you know?
You're given the opportunity to visit your past self, any age of your choosing. What age are you choosing, and what are you saying?
Oh man. I don't feel like I have regrets about like the path that I've been on.
I'm glad you said that, because this question is not designed to be
Sure.
cloaked in regret.
Yeah.
Like you got to go through the things to be who you are right now, but sometimes maybe there's just a little window where a little
Yeah. Like, cause I'm grateful for that now looking back. It's like, okay, if that hadn't happened, then I wouldn't be like this, or this wouldn't have happened. Probably the first thing that comes to mind is like right when I started the business I was in my mid 20s.
Oh, okay.
And just to say, hey man, you don't have it figured out. Like what you're doing right now, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're making yourself more stressed, because I just didn't want to ask for help. Like I was
To get this off the ground.
Yeah, just
Okay.
in general. I thought I was arrogant. I was smart. I consider myself an intelligent person, but that's just not enough. That's not going to cut it. And there is so much stress and so much wasted time that I had just because I didn't want to take help from other people, and I didn't. And I thought I could just do it myself, and I knew I could do it better than everybody else. And there's been so much relief and so much more business progression when I've let go and trusted people to do
That's cool.
the stuff that
See,
they're
that's,
good at.
I like this question. I don't want to remove it. I think it's considering, does it need an edit into how it's phrased, is always worth considering, because this is not an ask to your March 3rd of 1987, because that'll change.
Yeah.
No, it's just identifying. Like, the reason why things were so frustrating back then is because I was arrogant.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to ask for help. Things worked out fine, but just putting a thought or a phrase on what that was in that particular
Would have made life a lot easier.
Well,
Yeah.
it's even if it's only just looking back and been like, you talked about recognizing reactions, having gone to the gym, like, right?
Yeah.
You can just say, oh, that's what was going on for me back then. Interesting.
Yeah.
And nothing has to change. You don't have to do anything, but just to go like, oh, that's what that was.
Yeah, 100%.
Can be helpful. I don't know.
Okay, I really have to pee now.
I do
I'm
too.
sorry.
Okay. You're aware that a point in time there was a television program called Fear Factor,
Yes.
right? Early ages of reality TV, and you got to do the gross challenge to win the prize or
Yeah.
whatever. This is not that. This is real life.
Okay.
There's no prize. There's no camera. You have to get from point A to point B, and right in the middle is your biggest source of creeps, willies, anxiety, actual, whatever the thing is. It's the biggest thing, but you got to get past it. What is it?
It's a narrow cave thing where I've got to crawl through and I can't back out. It's claustrophobia probably for me.
These people that go in the lake caves where
Nope.
this is
yeah.
and then you fully under for 150 meters to get to the next.
Yeah, I'm out. I don't know. I don't remember as a kid this ever being a problem, but then like we went camping once. There was a cave on the site. We were having a good time. I popped a weed edible. Hey, let's go into the cave now. Yeah, sure. Sounds great. And then like right at the right time where it's coming up and here's this really narrow thing. And I just like got that like uncontrollable anxiety thing. I was like, I'm not doing that again. And then like had an MRI where, I'm like, I'm fine.
God.
I'm fine.
I've had two of them.
The first one I had was in one of those like open ones,
No,
It was-
don't.
Okay.
I've been in the tube.
Yeah,
Head first.
that was my second one. So the open one is like, it's like a pizza pie slice thing that they like slide you into from the side and you can see out on both sides. It's something like that. I don't forget what it looked like. Easy. not a big deal. I can look left and right. Well, whatever. Feel like there's open. That one, they're like, this is an old one. It's a little tight. And I mean, it's like I get in there and the thing is 3 inches from my face. They're like, we can give you a blindfold. We can give you medication. I was like, I'm fine. I get in there and I'm just immediately like, nope, pull me out. So I don't know what that is, man. But it's weird how that fight or flight response just kicks in for certain things.
Absolutely. And the first one, I don't know, whatever.
Is that what yours would be?
Probably, like a lot of times folks will struggle to come up with something, and where I go to sort of grease the wheel is the scene in Kill Bill. Have you seen this movie?
Yeah, it's been
Mickey Rourke chloroforms Uma Thurman and then buries her in a fucking coffin. Yeah, or the little submersible Titanic thing.
Yeah,
just I've made this joke before, but like if the folks that I'm in that capsule with have the wherewithal to, all right, let's figure our way. First thing we got to do is kill that guy.
Yeah,
he's
freaking out.
Yeah. Get him out of the way.
Yeah.
The second time I pushed the button, I had this Eastern Bloc gal. She's just like trying to talk me out of it through the thing, and I'm like, and finally I think she literally was like, all right, too much of a pussy, we need to reschedule. I'm like, fuck off. Like,
yeah.
But I think that I was so mad that this much time has passed between MRI 2 and MRI 1. And every day, millions of crazy technological things are coming out, and we have access, so we can use them. We can create, but it's still 45 minutes of just
loud noises
What? Yeah. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Pause everything and fix that, and then go back to being
all of the medical advances. We haven't figured that one out.
God,
dude. Yeah. I'm with you.
Last but not least, please complete this for me. The world would immediately become a better place in which to live, if only.
If only. If we could only figure out a way to care more about each other than the thing that our lizard brain is telling us to care about, I think is how I would answer that. So like
a lizard brain example.
So where I'm going with this is that like I see social media, right? And it's just the worst. All that's on there is divisive politics and all these things designed to get you angry. But having gotten into like social media content, what I'm learning is that like it gives you what you're looking for. And I think it's kind of becoming time where we assume a little personal responsibility for what we're choosing to engage with, if that makes sense. Because like what our lizard brain does is this fight or flight thing that comes from when we were in these wandering tribes and we didn't know if a lion was going to kill us or what's that over there. And we're just constantly on alert to make sure that we're not getting killed, right? So we're seeking out negativity. We're seeking out the stuff that is bad. And we're still doing that in a modern age with social media where, it's like you're looking for bad things just by nature. And that's like this primal part of our brain, I believe, that's doing that. But the frontal part of our brain can decide, no, I want to see cute puppies and kittens and fun stuff about beer and whatever. And if you have TikTok, do this. If you don't have TikTok, maybe don't get on TikTok, but put something in your head. Like I tell people to do this exercise, like I want to see whatever it is, trucks, and just start flipping like really quickly. And you'll eventually get trucks and then stop. And like it within minutes or less, you'll get it.
Yeah.
So it's giving you what your brain is asking for. Like it's really starting to have this connectivity with, what we're doing. And so with what we're looking for. And so I think we're kind of in this phase right now with social media where you have to make a concerted effort to consciously decide, like, I'm going to seek out positivity in my life and I'm going to seek out positivity in my friendships and all that. because otherwise I'm letting this primal portion of my brain that thinks I'm running from lions take over, and then I'm going to be pissed about politics. I'm going to be pissed about all the stuff that social media is feeding me because the algorithm will feed on that too. But there's almost two sides to it.
Have you seen the TikTok where I don't exactly know why this is what's happening, but it's like end of summer and there's somebody's gonna puncture an above ground inflatable pool.
I haven't seen this one.
I don't know if this is the last summer they're gonna use it, and so they're just gonna ruin it and replace it. But dude just pokes the water.
Yeah,
it like hits him and puts him through the fence,
washes him out.
I mean, so it's like. At one point, I found myself intrigued by whoever these sociopaths are that roll their window down this much and engage in, this is my first time, I'm not giving you my ID, to cops.
Yeah.
And this whole thing, and now it's like that water from the pool. It's just giving me that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, I need to aggressively swipe so that it'll turn that down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because some of it's interesting, but a lot of it, I'm like, this is giving me anxiety. Like,
yeah. And it's like, I'm not saying this from a place of judgment at all. I just think having awareness about that is important. Where, what am I looking at? There's all this stuff about sleep and no blue light before bedtime. Don't be on your phone. I don't think it's the blue light coming from your phone. I think it's the stuff you're looking at that gets you excited or upset or whatever. So like, yeah, I think it's just about having awareness about what you're consuming, because I tell people like I'm doing TikToks and I'll get some eye rolls, and it's like, but what I'm trying to do is put cool stuff, good stuff out there that makes people's days a little bit lighter.
There's a lot of good.
Like, I don't know if you care, everything I know about hops in under 30 seconds. I just edited that one day. Like, I don't know if you care about that, but I'm going to put it out there. And if it makes your day just like a fraction a little bit better, awesome. Yeah. I'm not going to go on there and talk about our president or something that's going to just divide or make people angry. Well, even though it's cheap engagement, if you look at analytics, it's an easy way to get big numbers, right?
So there is this thing that you're saying about the content that you choose or seek out or whatever, that's very enjoyable. There's also a lane where, and I know I'm 99.9% certain you've had this experience. The thing starts, and like 1.5 seconds in, you're pausing because you want to go to the comments and see. Because it's so entertaining sometimes.
You're like, what are people saying about this?
And one of my favorite things, like if you just see something that's bonkers, like what? And you go and somebody's like, this used to be a dancing app.
Yeah, right. Yeah. How quickly it all changes, right? But, and then it can be consumed in different formats. Yeah. So I love the fact that you're doing a 2-3 hour podcast, because like there's just stuff that comes out in this about people or just nuances that you don't get in even a minute long TikTok.
Or 30 seconds. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Border Brewing Company, you wound up intentionally or otherwise with a fascinating set of initials for your... Anybody crack wise at that?
We got a couple jokes, but for the most part, we don't use that.
Right. Border Brewing Company, 512 East 18th Street, right? Yep. KCMO, 816-469-5287, borderbrewco.com, and then the Untapped piece that shows what's...
go check out our beers. You can go through our website to see what's on tap and what's going on with events and stuff.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, any plugs?
I mean, that's how to find out what's going on. We've always got new stuff. We've got a trivia night on Wednesday nights that truly a unique trivia night in Kansas City.
Cool.
I know I'm a homer saying this, but like it is kind of Jeopardy style. The guy that does it is one of a kind. His name's Harrison Schmidt.
Okay.
And he approached me. He's like, I kind of know how to do this trivia thing. I'd like to try it out. I was like, that's great, but I want to do it differently. I have this idea. Tell me what you think. And I start pitching my idea. And we both went to K-State. We found out we both went to the same trivia night there. We loved how they did it. He's like, oh yeah, that's the one. So it's this cool format where there's like different teams that, if you don't know it, you can try to get another team to answer it. And if they don't, you get double points. So you get these little rivalries.
Family feudish kind of, sort of.
It's a little more interactive, and he just does a great job of being engaging with it. So if you like trivia, come check that out on Wednesdays.
Yeah. Okay. And you're still open till 11?
We're open till 9. We stay open a little later on Wednesdays
Okay.
during the week.
Are
And
you,
then,
I should know this, but are you 7 days a week? Are you?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 4 to 9 during the week, noon to 11 on Friday, Saturday, noon to 8 on Sunday.
Okay. So you've never felt, a lot of times, especially since pandemic and maybe even a little before, a lot of restaurants or hospitality spots pull the plug on Wednesdays, or even
Yeah.
pull the plug on Mondays, and sometimes Monday, Tuesday,
Right.
just to stop the bleeding of that.
overhead.
It's Wednesday night before we're out of the red
Yeah.
on the week. You've never,
Yeah, no, we've gone the other direction. When we first opened, we were just Thursday through Sunday. Then we added Wednesdays, added Tuesdays. I think when we moved to the new spot, and then we just added Mondays last fall. So it's in the neighborhood. It's kind of like there are a few places open Monday. It's like nobody's open. Well, who's going to be the first? So we've started to see Mondays pick up, and then
nice.
Wednesdays are kind of the slower days usually in the neighborhood, but we've got trivia night going on. And so, I love being open 7 days a week, because if there's just a couple people that come in, and they're looking for a beer, I'm happy to be there for them. Obviously it needs to make sense financially, but when you have a bartender and it's a pretty lean operation, not running a kitchen, that's another reason that it simplifies things.
Right.
It's a lot easier to stay open on those slower nights when we're maybe making a couple $200, $300, but the bartender's making money, and as long as they're making money and we're making a little money, it's worth staying open.
Yeah.
So
You're not paying a line cook $20 an hour and have a whole other category of inventory that you're managing.
yeah, food that's spoiling and whatever else.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to mess with that.
Anything that you had hoped that we would cover that we did not?
Oh man, I don't think so.
Okay.
Seems like we've covered a lot.
I think so.
Yeah.
Man, congrats again on 10 years.
Thank
you. Hospitality operations 101, again, back to McCoy's, 3:00 license back then.
Yep.
And just this idea of, I don't care how slow it is, we're never going to close early, because
Yeah.
you get those folk, and then forever in their mind as well, they're not a guaranteed spot, right? So there's that.
Yeah.
And then also this notion of needing X amount of capital from the time you open to get through years 3 and 5 to where, okay, we've paid back some of our stuff and we're not losing money.
Right.
Like to get through that is a rarity. So whatever the percentage of new places that open, don't even make it 12 or 18 months, 10 years.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not without sacrifice. I hadn't paid myself really since the pandemic started. We got some PVP assistance. I was paying people around me so we could keep things going. So it's not been without sacrifice.
Sure.
And it's not been without hard conversations between my wife and I of like, do we want to keep doing this? I mean, it's not been easy. And so people see the brewery and they see we got bigger, and they see our tap handles on in places, and they see the new beer releases, all the fun stuff going on. Obviously that's the marketing piece. What they don't see is me going home almost in tears some nights. Like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. My wife going, you're crazy. You just 2 days ago were all excited about this new opportunity, but that's kind of the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, I guess. And so, it's hard. And like when I talk to people that are wanting to start businesses or have started them and whatever, I tell them the idea means very little. You can have a great idea, but it's that grind of after getting started, you just got to keep at it. And you're going to have bad days. You're going to have good days. But if you can know you're heading in the right direction generally, then like those bad and good days are small up and downs in the grand scheme of things. And just like keep at it.
Yeah.
So,
well, kudos to you. This has been really fun. I don't know exactly what this would look like, but if you ever want to come talk about something else, or if you want me to come down and talk to somebody at the spot,
that'd be fun.
Part of this is the one-on-one human connection, but it's also Kansas City and what do you do? What do you do? Let's talk about what you do. And so,
and music is a basis for that, is a great way to
right. So
yeah.
point being, like, I don't know how I would be able to help or be of service in the future, but if you had an idea, shoot me a line. Like, I'm open to
I will. I'll think about that.
Really nice to meet you, man. I appreciate it, and talk to you soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks.